Hello, Internet. This is Trevor Golding.
Astro Ranger X.
And this is Super Sentai Power Hour. Now, I'm sorry we haven't had an episode in a little while. COVID. And
if you can't tell, the world's kind of falling apart right now, and
if you're listening outside of America, we just had an election, and there's a lot of controversy over it. So I don't want to get into politics. That's not the point of this podcast. So,
okay, who was the political leader, Lord Zed or Lord Draken?
That is an interesting way to put it, my friend. But anyway, we are here with a special episode of the podcast today because we are talking about various fan projects that we are putting together.
Basically, we're making our first idea was to take the canceled season Hexagon and make a fanfiction story out of it, but then it evolved into something with more crossover stuff in it, and we're basically taking Super Sentai and Power Rangers and making them cross over and team up.
Don't want to go too much into the details, but basically it's another Lord Draken story if you've read the comics. So there's a little bit of everything thrown in there. I don't know when exactly it'll be done, but
there's a lot of surprise characters and some of our own creations, so this isn't going to be, you have to wait to see it.
Now, what we're going to do is we're going to turn that fan fiction into a webcomic of sorts, with Brandon doing most of the art.
Yeah, and we're also going to do a little short film that I already filmed. Me and the guy playing Draken, we just filmed a few scenes, and I'm doing some visual effects, and me and Trevor are going to be getting some Lightspeed costumes and film a few scenes where we meet the villain of the surprise villain of the fanfiction.
So there's that, and another thing in July, one of our good friends, Mr. Gino, is putting together the Ranger Station convention. Hopefully,
which he's the guy playing Draken in our fan project.
He's been doing Ranger Station for a few years now, and he's very passionate about it. He basically thinks of himself as the real life Tommy Oliver. So
there's stuff of him where his facial features look exactly like Jason David Frank. He's just a little bit shorter than JDF, but if Boom Studios wants to have a live model perform, do photo shoots as the son of Tommy, J.J. Oliver, he would be perfect.
Indeed. So, if you want more details on that, you can message either of us, and we'll put you in the contact with him. He can tell you all about it. It's going to be fun.
The white Drago Rangers there, Dino Thunder Blues there, In Space Pink, and Rita Repulsa, and some other people.
So, if you're...
And my Lehigh Valley Power Ranger group is there, and I'm the guy who did that shirt that has the Ranger Station and the Megazord on it.
So, if you're as big a Power Rangers fan as you think you are, then you should definitely attend. Now, the other big thing is we're doing various. Brandon here has been doing a lot of animations based on the fan fiction. He sent me one a few weeks ago of his rendition of the new Sprocket. And
Machine Empire general who was thought to be defeated has somehow Sprocket has returned.
Yes, a little bit of a spoiler. Sprocket has returned in the beginning of the story, and he may or may not come back. Wink, wink. Um, but you'll have to see how we reimagined him. He looks pretty good, in my opinion. My proverbial hats off to you.
Think of the Machine Empire generals from Forever Red. That will give you like a rough idea of what he's going to look like.
Now, when it comes to spoilers in media, I have the opinion that there's no such thing as a real spoiler because you haven't experienced it for yourself yet. Well, you do.
I've read leaked movie scripts for movies that I've seen, and there's still surprises even if you know all the dialogue and descriptions.
Yeah. So you really gotta experience something for yourself. So while we will try to keep the spoilers light here, we're gonna let things slip. Don't worry too much about it. And another thing, this is one of our creations, and it was actually Gino's idea, and I just started to implement it. Is the idea of an Oracle Ranger, someone who chooses
like a Mortal Master,
someone who chooses those worthy of the power before their whoever their mentor is chooses them in the first place.
Think of the Arbiter from Power Rangers Unworthy, but the complete opposite of him.
Yeah. Or if you're a Marvel Comics fan, the Wanderer.
Yeah.
I just implemented him last night with our friend Anthony, and I think it will I think you'll like it, to say the least. Now,
we're going to be doing like some rough designs for the character, so we don't know exactly what this ranger is going to look like yet.
I imagined him as basically the ultimate personification of the white light that gave Tommy his White Ranger powers.
Oh, cool. That's a good way to describe him.
Yeah. And we gave him some, I guess you could say, stereotypical sage description. Like we're giving him a staff and some gauntlets to
think of the Japanese version of Zordon, where he's not a head in the tube.
Yes, Barza.
Barza, yeah.
Yeah. Think of Barza if you've ever seen Koryu Sentai Zyuranger. Good representation. Man, I wish I still had all the pieces to that. That would definitely be worth something today. But oh well. Now, not all the things we talk about here are going to end up in the story. Just putting that out there. This is more to get your brains brewing on what we could add in the future.
Yeah, because this is going to be a multiple part story. Like when we post part 1, that's not all of it. It's like, how many chapters are we up to right now?
I don't know. I stopped numbering them.
Okay.
But at least 10.
Cool. So imagine it being like the amount of time the Alien Rangers miniseries lasted, like Imagine not a full Power Ranger season, but like a mini series.
Exactly. Now, an idea that Brandon here had was that Draken isn't actually Tommy, but Tommy's son from Soul of the Dragon. And I actually really liked that idea. But um, Anthony mentioned that I might have to do some rewriting to add that in because I'm not sure if I already established he was Tommy.
Even if it's Tommy, it's not like the Prime Universe Tommy. This doesn't affect any of like the comics or the TV shows. This is its own like alternate timeline.
Yeah.
So things can happen differently here.
Yes. So, and I really like that idea. So, I, if I did mention that if I did establish that he's Tommy, then I'll just switch things around and make things more vague because I definitely like that as a really nice twist that eventually may just throwing this out there. I don't know after a particularly big battle with a villain or even with Draken himself, he takes off his helmet and reveals himself.
And
And
maybe he's someone completely different. Maybe he's Jason, or maybe he's Skull or Bulk.
yeah,
Or Bulk and Skull somehow became one on entity and decided that they're much superior to the Power Rangers, so they want to take over the universe to wipe out the morphing grid.
just thinking about that is, boy, Vulcan Skull as Lord Dragon. That is,
Okay, we need to make them Ranger Centuries, like Draken's guards.
yes. Oy veyes, man. Now, obviously, since this spans every season, there a lot of villains that were supposedly destroyed are coming back, and sir, the Rangers are obviously surprised at this because they thought that they were defeated. So they have to re-defeat. Don't think that's a word, but whatever. They have to defeat again their old enemies. Goes from past to future. So all eras, all seasons. Although I don't think I'm going to add the newest season of Sentai, Kira Major, mainly because I haven't seen it, and it's
I don't know. I only know the designs. I don't know anything about the plot.
um it's mainly because neither of us have seen it yet, and it's still brand new. So a lot of the plot points probably wouldn't make sense in the overall Sentai multiverse anyway.
And we don't know anything about Zen. Was it Zen Kaiger?
Yeah,
The
the
40th season.
the newest season is going to be called Zenkaiger. There's leaks abound everywhere. Supposedly, the suits are going to be a combination of different Megazord designs, with Daijujin being one of them.
Only the Red Ranger is going to be human, and the other four are going to be. What are we going to be? Zords that could turn into Rangers?
So, who knows how that's going to turn out? It may turn out to be a good season, may turn out to be a bad season. Who knows? But
Honestly, I don't. I'm not saying I want Super Sentai as a franchise to end. I just want the show to go on hiatus for a little bit, for a few years.
yeah, with a new season every year, ideas have to flow certain ways, and sometimes a hiatus is a good thing. I mean, with the Assassin's Creed series, just as an
Oh,
example, they were doing a game every year for a long time. Then Unity happened.
yeah, it happened.
I mean, I ended up playing it at some point. It's a decent game these days with all the patches and everything that have come out. But back when it first came out, everybody knows the Assassin's Creed Unity fiasco that happened with that game. So I'm not gonna.
And looking back, it wasn't that bad of a game, but at the time, it definitely killed the franchise a little bit.
Yeah. So they were right to take a hiatus, and then a few years later, Origins came out, and now we've got Odyssey and most recently Valhalla. I haven't played either of them, but they're supposedly pretty good games. So sometimes a hiatus in a franchise is a good thing.
Because we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but supposedly something's going to happen after Dino Fury, Power Rangers Dino Fury, where we don't know if it's going to go on a hiatus or if, but we know that whatever happens after Dino Fury, it's not going to be a Super Sentai adaptation. It's going to be Hasbro's own original creation.
Ugh, that that scares me.
Because what I think Hasbro was going for is Saban probably already created Beast Morphers and Dino Fury, so they were contracted to produce those two, but Hasbro's plan is after those make their own Power Rangers and maybe set it in like the Transformers universe.
I mean, that would be cool if they do it right.
Yeah, because my prediction is it's going to stop being with Boom Studios and go to IDW Comics because Hasbro's properties are all there.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's think. Let's do some brainstorming for a little bit. When it comes to adding in older seasons of Sentai, I've already added in Jaka and Go Ranger for representatives of pre Jew Ranger Sentai.
From what I've seen from people I've talked to, the most recognizable pre-Zoo Ranger Sentai seems to be Go Ranger and Jetman.
Yeah. Now, the only pre-Jew Ranger Sentai I've actually seen is Go Ranger.
I've seen Jetman. It's on the streaming service Tubi,
yeah,
and I've seen some of Go Ranger.
Go Ranger is strange.
It's for the time, the effects were probably revolutionary, but if you're the type of person who can't and take primitive special effects seriously, it's not for you. But I'm the type who loves seeing old special effects and stuff. So
I'm a huge Godzilla fan.
Same here.
So
it's like an old Godzilla movie, but with human-sized monsters and people in motorcycle helmets.
Yeah, and their final strike, whatever you want to call it, they either use a soccer ball or a football. Yeah. Like,
reminds me, there was this Super Sentai season that got canceled. It was supposed to be they fight the monsters by playing baseball.
Uh-huh.
It was going to be the 84 Sentai, but then it got changed into Dynaman.
Okay. Japan.
Which I actually have the Dynaman, their Megazord from the 84 from Japan. That's the only... That and Jetman Pink figure are the only two pre-Zero Ranger merchandise collectibles I have.
Yeah. So when it comes to actually adding them into the story, the way I put Go Ranger and Jacka was I don't know if you've read that far yet, but
I've read this.
the way I but for our audience, the way I added in Go Ranger and Jacka was a little bit of a time skip from the previous chapters to that newest chapter at the time. A bit of a time skip for Tommy to find new teams to add into the Hexagon fold. And two of them just happened to be Go Ranger and Jacka. They went on a mission to find more portal energy. Lo and behold, two portals open up right in front of them, and two of their Black Cross Army foes pop through them and they fight. And they end up going into Draken's lair. But
And something that could happen in the fan fiction is, since Hasbro's gonna stop with Sentai after Dino Fury, that means we could take unadapted Sentai and make them into our own Rangers.
yeah,
Because what I've always wanted to see is Tokuger, but it's a sequel to Lightspeed.
interesting idea. Although I'm not sure how you would turn a show about imagination into something more serious.
Well, they have the train swords, and they have the Lightspeed colors, and it could work, but they have to change the story like RPM and Go Onger.
Yeah. Tokuger.
Tokuger was a weird season, because
It was a
we all
good
know
one,
what
though.
the sword did.
That's what kills me. For how strange it was, I liked it. I ended up finishing it. It was.
It's not one of my favorite Sentais, but it's one of the more cartoony and anime-looking ones. But see, I would like it a little bit more if it was actually animated, just because I like seasons like Go Busters where it looks more realistic rather than cartoony.
I can understand that. Me, I don't really have a preference, but I tend to whether or not I like something, I tend to base it on the story itself.
Yeah.
And Tokuger's story ended up being really heartfelt. A whole bunch of kids trying to get their lives back.
Something that really bothered me was for Ninja Skill, they took a Tokuger villain but completely redid his face, making it look like CGI and cartoony, but the villain in Japan was like a plague doctor, which plague doctors are awesome, but I was hoping to get a figure of him, but instead we get like this funny CGI comedic face over him.
Yeah, I mean, we in America, we tend to make mistakes.
Oh yeah, our country is full of them.
Yes, whether it's in traditional media or entertainment, but again, don't want to get into politics. That's not what this podcast is about.
One of the big mistake is I paid $40 for this and there's no wheels. The vintage one had wheels.
Yeah, I mean, something I'll treasure forever is this that I got at the con.
Because yours is signed, right? Karen Ashley. And I have Hampton Comics. It's the issue 1 of their Power Ranger series, and I have all the Mighty Morphin cast on them, and on the back I have the Time Force cast.
Awesome. So, now, what is something that you've always... Actually, no, not a question. You mentioned the other day that you wanted to see how politics work in the Power Ranger world.
Exactly, because is there a political party that's pro-morphing grid and one that's against the morphing grid? And do political figures try to harness the grid? And are there... What about actual, like, non-monsters or demons, but what about actual criminals? Has there ever been, like, a bank robber who became a ranger?
Now, I like the possibilities of that, but I think I would have to write a whole nother story about that. I don't think I could just add that in. Although I could reference it.
Yeah, because there's... What I have... Because think of it. The Tommy Oliver in their Hexagon series that got canceled, he was gonna basically be a political figure and be in charge of the Power Rangers version of the Pentagon. So it's clear that the government knows about the Power Rangers and the morphing grid.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that the government knows about the morphing grid in the first place because technically, Mariner Bay in Lightspeed Rescue, that's technically part of the army, isn't it?
They were the first government military rangers.
Yeah. So obviously the government must know about Power Rangers and the morphing grid and all that. I mean, all the Rangers in Lightspeed were volunteers of some sort. I mean, Carter was a firefighter. Chad was a lifeguard. What's his name? Green Ranger was
Joel.
Joel was a pilot.
Dana was an ambulance medic, and I forgot what the Yellow was.
Yeah, me too. But Yellow Ranger, she was a rock climber.
And
adventurer.
Titanium Ranger was stuck in hell for a while, for most of his life.
Pretty much. Ryan had his soul abducted.
Something that I think will be a cool fan fiction crossover. Spawn, like the Image Comics character, meets Ryan from Lightspeed.
Something I'm thinking about doing. Maybe near the end, because I don't think it would work out otherwise. Maybe as a final push on Dragon's Lair or something. Add in the most recent Kamen Rider.
Isn't it Kamen Rider Saber right now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen any of the more recent Kamen Riders, but I've done a little bit of reading on Saber, and he seems to be one of the more powerful riders.
My favorite is either Kamen Rider Ryuki or Kamen Rider Wizard.
My favorite is Forze.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's cool. I just love his whole thing about making friends. That's his goal. Make friends with everybody. I love it.
Yeah.
He comes into school with a friend of his, and his first proclamation is, "I will make friends with everyone in this classroom." And I'm just like, wholesome.
He kills the new villain in every episode.
Yeah, and Forte is actually kind of dark. I mean, it's the power of the cosmos basically taking over someone's body. It's crazy.
I forgot the guy's name, but the original creator of Kamen Rider and Sentai said that he intended it to be more of a horror series.
Well, that makes sense. With the original Kamen Rider, he was literally a failed experiment.
Yeah, I would love to see like Kamen Rider like an original movie and made in America, but have like a more of a darker horror tone. Like
Yeah,
that one where he's like an organic creature.
Mm-hmm.
Kamen Rider Shin, I think.
Yeah, but all right, we're getting off topic. Adding in Kamen Rider Saber as like the last push on Draken. The all the Rangers have either had their powers drained, or they're just not strong enough to beat Draken's whole army and him himself. So at 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 the last possible moment, a portal opens up and Kamen Rider Saber comes in with his sword or whatever, and just goes.
You guys weren't going to do this without me, weren't you? You won't defeat Draken without a Kamen Rider on your side.
And the Rangers are just like,
what's a Kamen Rider? Impossible! Only Rangers can harness the morphing grid.
And the Sentais are just like, oh hi.
Weird, he looks like that bug guy we teamed up with shortly before our whole Ninja story arc.
I mean, I definitely Roxy. I think and also something I might do is just passively mention that possibility in 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 a nearby paragraph from the set.
Sentai exist in this universe, so of course we don't need to have them all over the place, but we could just name drop. We've teamed up with Kamen Riders before. It's not just us. We have Riders and Metal Heroes on our side.
Yeah, and then they can have a whole conversation about what the hell a Kamen Rider is.
You know, we once teamed up with these 4 mutated turtle guys, and for some reason there was a female turtle with shell breasts.
Excuse me?
Remember the next mutation? They created a female turtle, and that's what they crossed over with in Power Rangers in Space.
I don't think the female turtle was in space, though, was it?
Yeah, it was in space. 98, I think.
No, I know it was in space, but was the female turtle in that episode?
Yeah, which I always think they should have left her out because it was confusing to most people who've never seen the next mutation.
Honestly, I've never seen the next mutation, but
I have. Sucked.
Well, you know more about TMNT than I do, but they probably added her in because there are female Rangers. So they had to have a female turtle.
Fetish towards female turtle characters.
Let's keep that off the airwaves.
DeviantArt.
Let's not kill my soul today, shall we? Now, I'm trying to think. It was. Now, obviously, I'm probably not going to end up adding in Dino Fury because what hasn't started yet, and we don't know much about those Rangers. But
if you do, it'll be like that one team up where it was just Dino Fury, Ryu Soldier, Black and Green that briefly appeared.
Yeah, we could do a superhero Tyson type team up thing.
Yeah, because they always do like a brief cameo of whatever the new Sentai or 6 Ranger.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm obviously gonna add in Ryu Soldier because that season is all done. The movies are done. And I still have to watch it, but I'll add that in because it's not an ongoing series.
Exactly, and we still haven't. None of us have seen Cure Major, and I have no idea what the plot is.
Neither do I, but I do know it's like a combination theme. It's like a combination of magic and cards or something.
Because if I remember correctly, the Zords are crystals that transform into cars.
Yeah. So I think it's a combination magic vehicle season. I've seen
so Mystic Force and Turbo.
Yeah, it's like Mystic Force and Turbo or Mystic Force and RPM combined.
I do like the Silver Ranger design.
Yeah, I like the designs of the costumes in Kira Major too. I'll have to start watching it at some point, but it's still not going to be added in just because it's ongoing, and I don't want to fuck anything up.
Like, because we write something, then, like, let's just say we were writing this in 2007, then, or 2006, then the year later, and we had the Overdrive Red Ranger in it, but then after we publish it and it's finished, oh no, the Red Ranger is a robot.
Exactly. I mean, and that's another thing I gotta think about. I haven't added in Operation Overdrive or Bokanger yet.
Interesting thing about Overdrive is we all remember it not being a good season, but compared to the stuff we have now, it's much better than we remember.
Yeah, Overdrive. I mean, it has its problems, but it's no Super Mega Force.
Oh yeah, for me a big reason why I stopped was I had some of the figures and their legs broke off easily, so it kind of like made me lose interest in Rangers for a little bit until for some reason I skipped and didn't pay attention to Jungle Fury, but RPM I watched and got back into it.
Jungle Fury was where I got back into it.
Okay.
I didn't see the whole series, but I mean I ended up seeing the whole thing later on. But when it was on, I didn't see the whole thing.
Did you watch Power Rangers on ABC, Toon Disney, or ABC Family, or?
I think by the time I was watching it, I think by the time I came back, it was already on Nickelodeon.
Okay, so that was 2011.
Yeah. I mean,
which Nickelodeon are the ones who messed up Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Viacom is my enemy.
Yep. Now, Bokanger is an interesting series because it's pretty much nothing like Overdrive.
Yeah, they're similar, but they're an interesting thing about Overdrive is supposedly some executive guy at Disney said that they should just dub over the Sentai and make it like a Godzilla movie.
That would have been nice.
Which that brings up the question is, how would Power Rangers be as successful if it was always like a Godzilla dub?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think Power. I mean, Power Rangers is Power Rangers because we have American actors doing their shtick.
Because even before we knew about Sentai, we knew that subconsciously we knew that this is from Japan.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's no way Americans can come up with some of this shit. But I mean, Operation Overdrive's whole thing was these two villain factions were fighting each other, or they were on different sides, and the Power Rangers had to fight them both.
Which is kind of like how Zeo sometimes Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed were rivals to the Machine Empire.
Mm-hmm. But in Bokanger, I think they had the two villain factions, but they acted completely differently.
Were most of the villains from Overdrive American created, or were some of them Sentai footage?
I think the main villains were Sentai,
Okay,
or they at
because
least brought over
the
the
guy from Muscle
costumes.
Ranger, Frax, he was American.
No, Frax has Gien and Time Ranger. They're the same thing.
No, the Thrax from Once a Ranger. He was the son of Lord Zed and Rita.
Oh, right, him.
I think they have the same name.
Right. Yeah. In That's the thing. It's something I noticed while watching Go 5. Even though I have a version without the subtitles, I'll probably rewatch it with subtitles on Tubi.
Yeah,
But
I finished it a few months ago, and I was just gonna finish Hurricaneer, but I found out that Tenkai Nights is on Tubi, so I'm binge watching that right now.
mm-hmm. I still need to watch Tenkai Nights. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
It's my second favorite anime.
I'll watch it at some point. But anyway, the thing I noticed about Go 5 watching that, even though I don't know everything that they're saying, it doesn't really matter because, especially with the whole arc with those three really powerful villains with the exploding feathers.
Yeah, those guys.
They The villains are the same. The footage is. I think they did a really good job in Lightspeed of adding Ryan to that whole arc.
Cause it's so weird watching Go 5 and knowing that there's no Titanium Ranger.
Yeah. And it's a really weird thing seeing Ryan's Zord being controlled by an AI.
Yeah, that was very off-putting at first because we all know that as the Titanium Ranger Zord.
And I always forget what it's called in Go 5. But Ryan Zord in Go-Go 5 is literally just a robot.
Yeah, he's kind of like, I wouldn't say like Ninjor, but he's like the mini Zord from Ninja Storm, how it's like a Zord, but he's his own sentient being.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the 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 Tatsumi's father and a a a girl that has been friends with their family for a long time. They created this Zord slash mech to help the Rangers with this whole thing during this tragic time of the series. And there, you know that one particular scene where the Red Ranger goes up to the guy with the V Lancer
Oh
and
yeah,
the other and pulls the trigger. It's that scene is so iconic.
that's one of my all-time favorite Ranger moments.
I mean, I I I love Lightspeed. I love Carter, but something about seeing that scene in Go-Go 5, it gave me a bit of a skewed vision of the scene.
Yeah, because we know how the scene plays out, but we're seeing it with a different context.
Exactly.
Which
And
Lightspeed was our first season, so this was like the footage is very sentimental to us.
mm, and I feel like, I mean, obviously I don't know because I haven't seen it. You have, but and I haven't seen Lost Galaxy in a long time, and I've never seen Ginga Man. So, I mean, in our Go-Go 5 Ginga Man episode, you mentioned some things about the show. Do you remember how much like Lost Galaxy it was?
They're complete. They seem complete. They're completely different, but similar. A lot of the characters from Lost Galaxy were created in America and not from Sentai. And in Lost Galaxy, it's a space season, but in Gangaman, it's a nature-based season and they ride horses that have Zord armor.
Yeah, you told me that.
And there's
So
a talking acorn.
what?
Their Alpha 5 type character is a little puppet that's a living acorn.
I
And there's Zordon is a tree.
I'm gonna have to. Um, I don't know what to say about that. Although I shouldn't be surprised, it's Japan, but oy vey's mea. Oy vey's mea. That's all I got to say about that. I mean, that's not too. I guess that's not too strange. I mean, Go-Go 5 has that little green robot thing.
Yeah, a mint, I think.
Minto, I think is his
Minto.
name. It. I mean, America always takes out any funny talking thing for the Americanized version anyway. So
Yeah, just look at RPM.
yeah, I mean, our RPM and Go Onger are the prime example for this. I mean, in Go Onger the Zords talk, in RPM there's no sign of talking Zords.
And then in Megaforce, they completely removed that one Zord who had like the cartoon eyes.
Yeah, and one thing I will give Megaforce credit for is Robo Knight.
He was awesome.
Robo Knight and
But Remember the episode where Robo Knight gets killed off? It's a big plot point, but then in Legendary Battle, he's just back.
Yeah.
Hello, old friend. Glad to be back.
Ro- the way they did Robo Knight in Megaforce was decent, and Gosei Knight in Gosager, they're actually pretty similar characters. Robo Knight is obviously the guardian of the planet Earth, along with Gosei, and Gosei Knight in Gosager is a similar type of guardian figure, and it's actually established. I think it's actually established in Gosager that Gosei Knight isn't even technically their ally.
He's more of like his own self-operating ranger. He just happens to team up with them.
Exactly. He's his
Because
own.
Ashgar, was he an angel like the Ghost Agers, or was he just a robot?
Um, I, I, I don't remember his backstory, but I think he's just a robot. And there, there's another one. I've, I'm actually glad. It's one thing I'm really glad about is that I got Megaforce out of the way early on in the story, because when I first started writing it, I'm just like, these seasons are so not up to par with anything else in Power Rangers history. I'll just let them out there, let
A lot of
them do
people
their
like
thing.
a lot of people like the yellow Megaforce Ranger, so she could get away with.
Yeah. And then obviously in what I'm calling the Lightspeed arc of the story, the Ghost Sagers end up helping the Megaforce and Lightspeed Rescue Rangers fight off our Armada soldiers from Mariner Bay, or the base. So that
That's a cool. That's actually a pretty cool idea because the Go-Go 5 and Lightspeed, they fight demons, so the Ghost Agers, they're angels, so they come in to fight the Mariner Bay demons.
mm, yeah, and I actually added in Go Go 5 in a later chapter with the Lost Galaxy Rangers fighting the Psycho Rangers on
Yeah.
Terra Venture.
Yeah, I don't know if I read that far, but I think we've talked about that.
Mm-hmm. It it's an interesting fight if whenever you get a chance to actually read it for yourself. Both Anthony and Gino helped me write that part.
Cool.
A lot of their ideas are in there. I really. Oh, Ghostbusters versus Daijujin.
Daijujin.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
Okay, a minute. When Tokumu Sentai Go Buster first came out, we all accidentally called it Ghostbuster.
Yeah. And uh, I've already added them into. That's another thing I need to figure out. I've already mentioned beast morphers in the story, but I haven't actually added them into the story yet.
See, when we created this, it was like around the time the 2017 movie came out, so we didn't know Beast Morphers yet.
No, I've mentioned beast morphers uh, with when Billy mentioned Grid Battle Force.
Yeah.
I mentioned
Yeah. While Tommy Oliver created the Hexagon, I used my resources to fund the Grid Battle Force organization.
So when I mentioned Grid Battle Force, I mentioned I had Billy mention Beast Morphers. So I still need to figure out how to actually have them be fully added into the story and actually interact and everything.
They could just be like within like a crowd of rangers, like a legendary battle type scene, where we could just like throw in everyone we haven't included.
No, the way that doesn't really fit in with the way I've been at it. With the way I've been adding teams, the way I've been adding teams is usually it's in some dire moment.
Okay.
Like just for instance, the Lost Galaxy versus Psycho Rangers fight that I mentioned before. The Psycho Rangers were sent by Draken to destroy one of the biodomes of Terraventure to distract the Rangers.
Yeah, I think I read that.
Mm-hmm.
I need to reread what we've written.
So basically, what ends up happening is the Lost Galaxy Rangers fight the Psycho Rangers for the first time. Draken intervenes over a telepathic communication with the Psycho Rangers, basically saying, "What the hell are you guys doing? I sent you for a specific mission, not to fight the Rangers." So he basically reprimands them for not doing their job properly, and then he sends them off to go do their job. This way, the Lost Galaxy Rangers can regain a little bit of their strength.
Cool.
And while they're regaining a little bit of their strength, I can't remember her name right now, but a woman from the comics comes in and meets with them.
Grace.
Grace Sterling. Yeah, her.
Yeah.
I add in Grace, and she explains who she is. And one thing I never mentioned, which I might mention in the future, is how Grace knows Go-Go 5 in the first place, because she calls them in for backup.
Maybe she could have been. Maybe she helped fund Go-Go 5 along with Captain Mitchell.
You mean Tatsumi?
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
Japanese action. Japanese Captain Mitchell.
You know what's really funny about that is they actually do kind of look alike.
They kind of do, actually.
It's very strange, but they do kind of look alike. But anyway, so that's an idea, but it's something I never mentioned in that scene. Basically, Grace goes off to the side and basically calls up and says, "Is Tatsumi there?" And then later on during the second fight, where the Galaxy Rangers end up chasing the Psycho Rangers off to another part of Terraventure, and the Go-Go 5 Rangers end up fighting a villain. I don't remember which one, but there was a villain that Draken sent to distract the Rangers so that Psycho Rangers could do their thing. And Go-Go 5 Rangers end up getting taken out by this villain. They're not gone, just defeated. And and I end up ending the chapter with the Psycho Rangers successfully breaking one of the biodomes. All the Rangers get sucked out into space and get saved by the in-space Rangers. Who
So, are we going to bring in the Mega Rangers with that, or?
No. I'll add in Mega Ranger somehow. But anyway, back. I love that shirt. Back off, man. I'm a scientist. I love it.
Yeah.
My mom got me a really nice shirt for Hanukkah that says "Breaking news. I don't care." It's I don't know if I don't know where I'll be wearing that, but probably not away from home because it's kind of antagonistic. But I like it. Anyway, so with that, final remarks on this project. We've given you some insights into what to expect from this. By the way, just a bit of a casting call. If you want to be a part of this project, we need voices. We need villains. We need rangers. We need someone to play some of the mentors. If you want to be a part of this project, let us know. Friend us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at rstones1016 on Twitter.
And Answer Ranger X on Instagram and ArtStation.
Friend us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Let us know if you want to be a part of this project. We could use anyone that wants to help. Doesn't matter if you have voice acting experience. Just do your best. If you think you can do a good Zordon voice, for instance, give us a call. We could definitely use the help.
Well, even if you're not good at it, you could always just do like a ranger that just has like one or two lines.
Exactly. And
because we have rangers who just pop up and just do their morph call.
Exactly. And also, Brandon obviously can't do all of the art himself, even though I'm sure he'd like to.
I kind of called a life.
Yes, he has a life, so he can't do all the art himself. If you're an artist and you're a Power Rangers fan, again, give us a private message. We'd love to have you on board.
It could be in any particular medium. It doesn't need to be digital. It could be like a comic layout. It could be marker. It could be digital. It could be 2D. It could be 3D. Think of it like, you know, those videos where someone will take like a show or movie and have like different artists to recreate it, like Shrek reanimated.
I've seen that.
Something like that.
Yeah, or the SpongeBob anime.
Only this time we don't put Chris Chan in it.
It indeed. So yes, if you want to be a voice actor, if you want to be an artist, contact us. We'd love to have you aboard.
Definitely.
So with that, I'm Trevor Golding.
And for Ranger X, back to road change. Power Ranger!
Hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.